Here, look, I'm sure there'll be many families and community groups in my constituency that will listen to this debate and wonder how quickly this bill has come before us here in the Dáil, how well it's being supported, I think, across all parties and groups. And then they'll look at the regulations for the wind farms. There was a debate here in 2013, and the Minister was asked for regulations. He was asked to level the playing field. He was asked to ensure that the voice of communities and individuals were heard. And to this day, we do not have the regulations that are necessary to protect local communities and to set out the criteria for the development of these large-scale wind farms. And in Kilkenny, Carlow and into Laois, there are problems in relation to these issues. Families were here with us in the AV room, setting out their position. Some very, very distressing stories being told to us, and yet there is no regulation. So I asked the Taoiseach, would he consider a moratorium in terms of the applications that are there, so that the regulations could be introduced and that the huge wind farms with the new technology and new size in terms of the blades and the towers, that they at least could be discussed in this House and could be applied to any development that were taking place. That did not happen. Brian Stanley has a bill here, Deputy Stanley, and I would ask you, Minister, to take that bill and to use it at second stage in order to bring about a debate on this issue, so that we can come to some conclusions on what needs to be done in the plan for the future, and that we can reach out and help the individuals, the communities that we represent. Because it's not just Carlow, Kilkenny, Laois, it's right across the country. And if you drive along the road from Kilkenny to Durrow, you will find that the local communities there have windmills behind them and windmills planned in front of them, and there is no consideration being given to their difficulties. In fact, I would say the system is stacked against them because the submissions can be paid for, no problem, because there are big companies involved, but the submissions that are forced upon the communities to make, they have to pay for themselves. And it is dividing local communities. It is causing mayhem between neighbours. And I'd ask you to please, Minister, look at it. Look at different options that are there. Why not look at the nuclear option? Small nuclear plants, they're being built all over France, Germany. They're not at all the way they used to be, and they are an option. Now, we actually import electricity generated by nuclear plants, while we hold the moral ground and say, oh my God, I wouldn't have those in this country. But actually, we should stand up and take our responsibility seriously, and we should bring about the change in policy that's necessary to deal with these issues. I would say, draw your attention, Minister, to the big energy companies. And I want to give an example very quickly. The energy companies are not treating their customers with respect. They're not showing any degree of compassion. You cannot get in touch with them unless you use the free phone line, and you'll queue forever. You could be cut off in the middle of your conversation. If you send in an email of complaint, God knows what will happen to it. So I followed up one of them today in my own constituency office. The phone was cut off. I couldn't get through on the email. And finally, when I submitted a third-party authorisation, it was sent back to me because the man signed his name as Ger and then his second name. And his name is Gerard. They asked me to go and get the man to sign the full name, Gerard. Now, these are vulnerable customers who are appealing to the biggest energy companies, making huge profits, to please sort out my meter. Please help me to pay my bill. Or they're asking the question, why would a single man in a house generate electricity up to €3,000 of a bill? There is something wrong, and they will not reach out to the customer, as any other company should and would, to help them to resolve the issue and get paid. Accountability and reporting, oversight and so on is critical in relation to this bill and that amount of money. And I don't see enough in the bill to convince me that there are conditions there that must be met by the company and that we are serious about value for money and oversight of taxpayers' money. I want to turn to the domestic and commercial costs to SMEs, farmers who pay their bills, and dairy farmers in particular who have come to me and said, in the middle of milking, down goes the electricity. They get a power failure. And when you report it to the energy company, you get absolutely zero traction in terms of trying to sort it out. Small businesses are closing because of the cost of electricity. And nobody seems to be reaching out to them to stop the companies from charging them what is far too much for their electricity supplies. And I would say also, the companies, the individuals, domestic and commercial, that are waiting to be connected is truly shocking. And they're getting no respect or response from the big companies. And in fact, I had one experience on the Hebron Industrial Estate with one commercial operator, and it is impossible to get the answer so that a supply can be arranged and a housing can be provided for those that are on our waiting list. There is so much to be done, Minister, and I would ask you please take a note of what has been said, not just by me but other speakers, and act on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy McGuinness. Deputy Barry Heenan.